Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to model a building designed by Zaha Hadid architects. It's Sleuk Institute located in Cambodia, and I wanted to show you some principles of modeling one of these units. So we're going to model just one of these, and I'm going to show you how you can actually, in a very quick and easy way, create this geometry. It's just a matter of the right approach. So first thing we're gonna do is actually create 2D lines. We're gonna create 2D lines of these extrusions here, and then once we have this in 2D, we are then going to actually move it or project it on a surface which will be this whole building, and then we'll move on from there. So first let's create these lines. So I'm gonna just go with simple lines here, and right now I'm not going to look a lot about the correct heights and proportions, but later on we will probably fix that. So I'm gonna keep this line as 30, and then let's move this, like, let's say 5, maybe less, let's say 2. Okay, so the thing that we want to create here is we want to create a single module of this. Let me show you here. So we want to create this one module here, and then once we have this guy ready, then we will be able to replicate it on all around. So the main thing here that we want to do is actually go and start drawing this shape, start trying to get it to look similar. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create some kind of curve here, so that we can better control the curvature of this geometry. So let's move this, let's say here somewhere in the middle, and let's go with this command here, and I'm gonna simply guess now the rotation like this, and then I'm going to turn on the control points, and once the control points are in place, I'm gonna use set point, bring it to the X, and I'm gonna use the same thing for the top one. So now I know that this curve is pretty correct. So let me mirror it here, and now we have this module here. So what we will do with it is we actually need to, let's say, mirror it on the top, and then we need to see if this will fit. So we want to create something that is as close as possible to this shape. So as you can see here now, this is like it's not there yet. So let's try to get it as close as possible, something like this. And let's say that, let me just check for a second. Yeah, okay, so let's bring it up a little bit more, something like this. Okay, so I'm gonna hide these two for now, and I'm gonna trim these axis lines here. And for these guys, I want to have fillet of radius, let's say 5. I don't need these edges, I want them nice and smooth like this. So let me check. Okay, so I can actually manipulate it a little bit more here if I want. Once I'm happy with it, let me check. Okay, so let's say that I'm happy with this, how this turned out. Now we're going to divide it in half. So I'm gonna use here this middle line, and the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna trim the rest of these. Okay, let me just memorize here these two. So let's trim all of them. like so. And now what I want to do is actually I want to create some offsets. So I'm gonna go offset and I'm gonna say 0.2. I'm gonna do the same for this one, and this one, and this one on the bottom as well. And let's create some filleting again. Let's create some bigger ones so that we get this nice and smooth transitions. I think we can go even more. So the thing here that I want to get right here is the proportions. So as you can see here, this middle area is, let's say, this top area has the biggest length, then it's this bottom one, and then this middle one. So or it's gradual, I'm not sure, but it seems like the bottom one is taller than the middle one. So I actually want to respect this, so I want to maybe kind of get it right, try to get it as close as possible to the actual measurements. And we can of course change this later on, but it's important to get it as close as possible at this point. So I'm just gonna extend this a little bit more, like so. I think it's around there, something like this. Okay, so let's do the rest of 12 and let's see what we get. So as you can see, we're getting some nice results here. We're getting this nice smooth transition that we have here. And now what we want to do is actually, once we're happy with this, we want to create a block out of it, or a group. So in this case, first let me create the radius here as well. So we need also something here. We want this to be rounded as well, but we don't want it to be too big. So you can just experiment and see what's the best result you get, so that we have a visually nice image here. Okay, so the next thing here would be to actually create this transition between these two. So we also need to include the second one, and in order to do that we need to divide it. So let's bring it here until the end, and now I'm going to copy this, or actually mirror it here on this side, and I'm just gonna group it here and move it here, like so. So now I know that these two will intersect here, and that's what I wanted. So let me get this middle area, like so. And now we can actually, yeah, we can divide this. So now we can say trim all of this inside. We don't even need this one. And let's trim here the outside as well. Okay. So the last thing here that we need to do is create this fillet here. So I'm gonna say fillet 0. Let's see if it's too big. I think it's fine. Let's go with 0.15. Yeah, this is better. Okay, and let's mirror it. Okay, so this seems all right. So now, as you can see, like I can group this, and once I mirror this or copy it, it will be it will have the same geometry, same distance, and we can use it as a module. Let me just remove these dots here. Okay, and so now let's say that you're happy with this, how it turned out. So let's see how many of these we're gonna create. So here I can see that there is, let me see, so 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So let's say that there is 4 of these, or 5, Yeah, it's 5. So it's this one on the side plus 3 in the middle. So it's gonna be 3 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, and it's gonna be 1 on the side. So this is gonna be my one side. And now, so I'm just gonna create a rectangle now here so I can manipulate it and have better control of it. I'm just copying this now, and let's trim it. Okay, so this is my rectangle that I will use, and I'm gonna group these guys in the middle as well and group everything together. So now what's the next thing? The next thing is, let's rotate this. Like so. Let's bring it in the center. And now we're going to create the actual box onto which we will basically glue these lines to. And then we can further change it if we want. So let me just check here. Okay, actually, right. So the difference here is that this corner areas will have a separate module. It will be different than the other ones because, as you can see, the building here is not straight, it's actually curved. So let's create this geometry. So we're gonna have a rectangle at the bottom, and we're gonna have the rectangle at the top. But we also need to create the edge. So in order to create the edge, I'm simply going to use one of these, and I'm gonna use it as a reference to create some of these. So the easiest way to do this is by connecting basically this line with this line. So I'm gonna ungroup everything, and I'm gonna delete almost all of it. I don't need these guys and these guys, so let's say we just need these two. So the next thing is I'm gonna explode these guys. I don't need this one and this one. So what we want is basically to connect the areas here. Let's say middle, and let me see. So I'm gonna say this is the height, and this is their distance, and this is going to be the middle. So we want to basically fuse them like this. So I'm gonna use control points, and by using the control points I'm going to just simply move this guy here, and then I'm gonna mirror it again, like so. And we have our curve, which we can then join, and we will use this curve to create our section. So let's bring this guy here. Let's move it in the correct position. And now when I'm on the top, let's actually rotate it. So I'm gonna type here 45, and I have the degree there. So now we can just mirror this and mirror it on the bottom, and we can create our geometry. So I'm gonna create the rectangle from here, and let's do sweep 2. Let's create a bottom and the top, and now let's go one by one, and we have the result. And let's explode it, and let's mirror this, and now we have all of them together. I'm gonna join them and cap them, and that's it. So now let me unhide everything, and first we're gonna do one. So I'm gonna move this guy here. I'm gonna move this guy here. So since this is all like rectangular, we just need to do one side and we'll mirror it on the other sides. So let's start. I'm gonna explode this, ungroup it, and let's hide this, and let's extract one of these surfaces, and let's isolate them. Very cool. Actually, I'm gonna mirror this just in case later we'll see if we're gonna need this area or no. But for now, I just want to have it as a... So the way we're gonna do this is just by simply extruding these lines, and then we're gonna say intersect two sets. We're gonna say this is the first set, and the second set will be all these extrusions, and we get the actual lines here. Look at that. Okay, so another thing we can do here is we can make these divisions here. As you can see here on the image, the difference here in the middle. So this surface is actually divided, and then on one side it has horizontal bars, and then on the vertical it has vertical bars. So we can also do this from here. So the best thing to do this is by actually going back to 2D, and then transforming the same elements back in 3D. So let's just go real quick here, and what we can do is we can just do this for one surface, then we can copy it later on. So I'm gonna divide this in two sections, and this one also, and then we're just going to basically copy these a couple of times here. Let me just see what would be the best thickness. Something like 0.03 is all right, and let's copy it a couple of times like so, and then we can use trim command to trim the rest of these horizontal. Okay, and now these horizontal ones will be the same distance. So I'm gonna just do 1/2, and then let's say 0.03, and let's copy this multiple times like so. Let's trim it again, and what we can do here is just mirror these guys here, since it's the same. Delete this one, and now we're gonna use the same principle for these guys. So we're just going to copy this, and let's trim it. Let's trim the top, and let's do the same thing here. Okay, so once we have this, let's select all of them, and without these guys and this one, let's group it, and we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so once we have this grouped, we're going to basically copy it on the other ones here, and we're going to do the same on the top like so. Let's do this one as well, and once we have this, we can actually bring it back. So we're gonna bring this here, turn it back, and move it here into the place like so. Then I'm just gonna go in the side view to see if everything is all right. Okay, so maybe we just need to fill out one more here, one more module. So I'm gonna ungroup it and do copy here like so. And now at this point, we actually want to split this surface. So in order to create the surface here, we need to use split command. I'm gonna say objects to split, and we're going to select these top ones. So now we have these surfaces split. Okay, so the easiest way to actually create this is by extruding this edge here, like so, and then let's intersect, and then we're gonna say intersect two sets, this one and this one, and once we have this curve, we can actually use it to get the actual thickness. So once we have this curve, we're going to explode it, and then we're just going to use this element here, and we're gonna say show me the control points. We're gonna select these guys here and move them a little bit outside, like so. Once we have this, then we're going to create these two parts here. So now the question is, how do we actually connect this surface? So in order to do this, we need to actually split first. We need to split this curve in half. Split, select the point, and then we're going to say intersection. And once we have this curve, we can use it with sweep 2 to actually create this surface. And this is the result we get. Now we're gonna mirror it, and we have the surface. So I'm just gonna copy this now here. Once we have this prepared, we can actually use these to create these extrusions inside. So I'm just going to go to the front view now to check to see if everything is all right. Seems it is. So let's select all of these curves and say project, and let's select the surfaces that we want, and we say enter, and now you will see the math happens one more time. Now it's calculating the projection because there's a lot of lines, but once we have these lines, we can use them as we want, and we can create surfaces from them. There you go. I'm going to split this first surface with these lines because we will need them to create the thickness. Okay, so now the quickest way to create the thickness is just extrude it like so, and we have the actual module here. So this is this one side that we wanted to create. As you can see, it's quite similar with this element here. So now I'm just going to copy this on all four sides, render it, and show you the final result. So here's the final result. The rendering seems quite well. I added a little bit of interior lighting so that it has some cool effect. And please let me know if you like this tutorial, and if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to know more about the process of creating this kind of videos and tutorials, please let me know. If you have any suggestions regarding some projects that you would like to see modeled, also please feel free to comment, and see you in the next video.